You begin your journey on a path made not of stone, but of something softer. Cloudstone, perhaps, smooth, cool underfoot, with each step releasing a faint puff of glowing mist. The stairs rise gently, curling into the sky like the beginning of a spiral. There is no rush, no urgency, only the feeling that this path has always been waiting for your feet. The air is warm, not heavy, but light, like sun-warmed silk, and it carries with it the scent of lavender, of rain just past, and something sweeter you can't quite name. Above you, the sky is soft and gold, fading gently into hues of rose and pale violet. You cannot see the sun, but its presence is everywhere, warming your skin, catching on the edges of the mist, casting halos around every cloud. The farther you climb, the quieter everything becomes. The wind moves slowly, gathering around your shoulders like a shawl. It doesn't speak, but it hums, low, content, a sound that lives between music and memory. And then, through the mist ahead, you begin to see them. Gardens, not on land but floating, vast gentle islands of colour and light hovering in the air as if the sky itself had decided to bloom. Each island is different. One is covered in tall, feathered grasses that sway in rhythms not tied to any wind. Another glows from beneath, its soil pulsing with slow light, as translucent petals rise and fall like breathing. Bridges made of curved roots and wide ribbons of glowing vine stretch from one island to the next, undulating softly in the air like suspended rivers. You pause at the landing. Here, where the stairs meet the first floating garden, the ground transitions from cloudstone to plush, mossy carpet, cool, springy, and just slightly warm. It welcomes your step like an old friend, without words. You take a breath, a long, deep inhale. The air smells sweeter here, richer. You let it go. The garden before you opens wide, its edges rimmed with slow fluttering petals, its centre filled with soft hills and glowing plants that hover just inches off the ground. Everything moves, but gently, no sudden shifts. Only the rhythm of something ancient and untroubled. Then, in the distance, you see a shape, massive, slow, moving with a grace that defies its size. A hand, broad and moss-covered, reaches down to stroke the side of a drifting bloom the size of a sail. The flower hums in response, a note, soft and clear, like the quiet ringing of crystal in a dream. The figure steps forward slightly, and the mist parts around them. They are enormous. Their shoulders brush the tallest trees, their eyes like warm suns behind a veil of light. Their face is kind, lined not with age but with patience, a gentle giant. They wear no armour, no robe, no crown, just a mantle of vines woven with blossoms and glowing leaves that pulse in harmony with the breeze. And they are tending the garden, not commanding it, not controlling, but tending, encouraging. As you watch, they kneel beside a sloped hill and place their palm flat on the moss. The earth hums, the wind gathers, and from the ground a new vine curls upward, blooming mid-air in a soft spiral of colour. You take a step forward, then another. The giant turns. They see you. They don't speak, but they smile, a slow, knowing expression that carries no surprise, only welcome. They extend a hand, not toward you, but to the path behind them, an invitation. You don't speak either. There's no need. You step forward onto the floating path of vine and bloom and follow. The wind wraps around your ankles like a sigh of relief. Somewhere ahead, a new garden begins to bloom, and the giants are waiting. The floating vine path sways gently beneath your feet, but it does not feel unstable. Instead, it moves like breath, inhaling slowly as you step forward, then exhaling with each pause. Ahead, the giant walks. Each step is measured, deliberate, but impossibly light. Their enormous feet barely disturb the moss. Petals drift from the trees around them, not falling in response to movement, but simply as part of the rhythm of the garden. The giant's presence feels less like a person and more like a part of the landscape, as natural as the clouds, as quiet as the wind. They guide you along a wide path of soft, glowing leaves. Above, arching branches stretch toward one another and bloom with transparent flowers that glow softly with every movement. Somewhere nearby, you hear the sound of humming. It's not coming from the giant, but from the vines themselves. Their long, twisting stems vibrate gently, emitting soft tones that shift as the wind passes through them. The music is slow, low, and always changing. It feels like it's responding to your mood, echoing your breath, translating your presence into a peaceful song. The giant reaches a clearing. Here, the floating island opens up into a circular meadow, surrounded by towering stalks of feathered bloom. In the center, a vine reaches skyward in a slow spiral, as if trying to kiss the clouds above. At its base, another giant kneels. This one is even larger than the first, with broad shoulders wrapped in hanging moss and glowing blossoms. They are humming, a soft, low note that feels as though it is coming from the earth itself. The vine responds. Each time the giant exhales, the plant grows a little taller, its stem glowing, its petals unfolding like soft lanterns in the sky. You watch in stillness. There is nothing to say, only to witness. The first giant turns to you and kneels slowly. With both hands, they open their palms toward you. Resting in the center are 5 small, glowing seeds, weightless and softly pulsing with light. They float just above the skin, as if reluctant to leave the giant's warmth. You step forward. The giant offers no instruction, no explanation, only trust. You reach out and take the seeds one by one. They hum faintly in your fingers, cool and light, like holding distant stars. As you step back, the seeds drift upwards slightly, hovering around you as if they know where to go. The giant smiles again, this time with a slow blink that feels like a blessing. You follow the floating seeds as they drift toward the far edge of the garden. But as you walk, something begins to happen. Where each seed passes, the garden responds. Petals open, leaves glow brighter. Tiny vines rise from the ground and form a path beneath your feet, a soft trail of light woven from the very fabric of the garden itself. The wind carries a soft harmony now, the same tone the giant had sung, only now it's layered, a dozen different notes interwoven in a sound that feels like sunrise. You reach the edge of the meadow and turn back. The 2 giants are still there, kneeling together, tending the spiral vine like quiet caretakers of a sacred song. You press a hand gently over your heart, not as a signal, just as instinct. And the wind answers. It brushes your cheeks like the touch of a hand made of air and memory. You turn forward again. A new path opens. This one leading upward into the higher levels of the garden. Floating vines stretch into the mist above, forming wide spiral bridges lined with glowing seed pods and swaying flowers. You walk slowly. Each step feels like a breath into something lighter, something deeper. The seeds still hover near you, glowing, humming, guiding the way. You feel no weight in your body, only motion, only warmth, only the soft hum of something blooming from within. And somewhere above, beyond the spiral path, beyond the mist, a new garden waits. You climb, and the clouds part to welcome you home. The spiral bridge rises steadily, suspended between floating vines and slow-turning clouds. Each step takes you higher, but the air grows no colder. only quieter. The seeds that hover near you begin to glow more brightly, trailing gentle strands of light like the tails of shooting stars. As you reach the next landing, the mist parts completely. Before you floats the conservatory. It is not a building, not in the way you know buildings to be. It is a great suspended platform, woven from glowing roots and flowering branches, held together by loops of light and the slow gravity of the garden itself. It stretches wide into the sky, rimmed by archways of curved glass petals and trellises of humming vine. The floor beneath your feet is soft, silver moss laced with threads of gold and pale green. Everywhere you look, there are floating plants, not potted or planted, but hovering gently in the air like sleeping lanterns. Some drift in slow spirals, emitting a soft luminescent mist. Others sway where no wind is felt, their petals opening and closing in rhythm like quiet breath. As you step further inside, the air becomes thick with calm. It hums, not in a loud way, but deep within, like the forest remembering a song. And then, from between the hanging vines, another presence appears. A smaller giant. You might call them young, but nothing in this place feels bound by age. Their eyes glow like twin moons, and their movements are even slower than the others, as if they are still learning how the garden wishes to be moved through. They say nothing, but tilt their head gently, inviting you to follow. You do. They lead you to the heart of the conservatory. Here at the centre is a suspended chamber made entirely of light, thin lines of glowing crystal looped into an open dome. Within, dozens of floating flora gently orbit one another. Some shaped like stars, others like deep-sea jellyfish, and a few that resemble thoughts made solid. Each one emits a sound, not music exactly, but notes, ambient tones. One plant gives off a soft bell-like chime with each slow rotation. Another pulses with warm, low hums that you feel in your chest rather than your ears. Together, the sounds create a layered symphony of calm. Like wind, like memory, like a lullaby without words. You sit. The young giant settles beside you, curling their enormous legs like folded bridges. They reach up and pluck a drifting bloom from the air. The moment they touch it, its glow shifts. From pale green to soft amber. They offer it to you. You accept. The bloom is warm and weightless. It pulses faintly in your palm. And when you exhale, it chimes. The tone it produces is unlike the others. It harmonizes, as if the bloom is playing you. You smile softly, not out of amusement, but recognition. The giant leans their shoulder against a great flower wall and closes their eyes. So you do too. You lie back into the moss, the bloom still in your hand, its light now dimmed to a slow flicker. Above you, the floating plants continue to orbit, to hum, to breathe. The entire conservatory seems alive, not with thought, but with presence, a kind of awareness that asks nothing and offers everything. You close your eyes more fully, and for a few long minutes, there is no past, no future, no identity, only this feeling of floating among gentle giants, cradled by light, carried by sound, and weightless in stillness. Eventually, you open your eyes again. The young giant is already standing. They smile with their whole face, then turn and begin to walk toward the far edge of the dome. You follow. The bloom in your hand drifts upward, as if its work is done. You let it go. It floats up into the sky, joining the constellation of drifting plants above. You pass once more through the conservatory arches, the music gently fading behind you. Ahead is another vine bridge, this one lined with glowing buds that open as you approach, lighting the way. The air smells of sweet moss and citrus wind. The path curves again, towards something quieter, something deeper, a space to plant what you now carry. And so, you walk on. The vine bridge winds downward now, looping softly through drifting clouds and petal mist. The air carries a warm scent, like fresh rain and blooming nectar. As you walk, the final seed still glows softly beside you, floating at shoulder height, its light pulsing slowly, in time with your breath. The path narrows into a smaller floating terrace. A quiet garden island ringed by flowering trees, with pale blue trunks and leaves like folded wings. Their petals don't fall. They rise, drifting upward like wishes, each one glowing faintly before vanishing into the sky. In the center of this space, the ground opens into a shallow basin lined with silver soil that sparkles softly in the fading light. You step closer. No words, no instructions, but you know what this place is for. You kneel. The moss here is plush, pillowy, and warm. The floating seed drifts down slowly, settling gently into your palm. It no longer pulses. It simply waits. You brush away a small patch of silver soil and press the seed gently into the earth. It sinks without resistance, resting in place like it's always belonged there. You cover it, smooth the soil with your fingertips, and exhale. A single breath. Software present. And the moment your breath touches the air, the earth responds. A tiny glow begins to bloom from beneath the soil, spreading outward in soft, concentric rings. Then, slowly, a sprout breaks the surface. It unfolds upward, not quickly, but deliberately, gracefully. Its stem glows with color you can't quite describe. Part gold, part lavender, part the color of memory. Petals unfurl, wide, round, and luminous. They shimmer faintly in the air, catching invisible winds. You feel something inside you shift, not dramatically, not sharply, just lighten, open, like something you once carried has been absorbed into the roots of this new bloom. And then, a deep shadow moves behind you. You turn, and the elder giant is there, taller than any you've seen. Their skin the color of ancient bark, with glowing threads of ivy cascading from their shoulders like a robe. Their eyes are the soft grey of morning mist, calm, endless. They say nothing, but kneel beside you and rest one massive hand in the soil near your flower. The earth hums softly. The flower glows brighter, then steadies. The elder giant reaches into a pouch woven from moss and golden leaves. They remove a single flat leaf, wide as your hand, woven with tiny star-like veins. They offer it to you. You place your hands beneath it as it settles gently into your palms. It's warm, and it hums. You don't know its meaning, but you understand it. Thank you. This is yours. You are part of the garden now. The elder giant rises. Their footsteps make no sound. They turn and vanish into a curtain of mist and light. You look down at the leaf. Its center now glows with the same light as the flower you planted, the same light you saw in your floating seed. A perfect echo. You rise and tuck the leaf into a fold in your garment. It feels like it belongs there, not like something added, but like something returned. The wind stirs around you. Not a breeze, a slow spiral. A current that brushes your shoulders and guides your gaze upward. The trees around the terrace are beginning to bow slightly, leaning toward a wide bridge of woven vine that now glows with soft white light. It leads higher still, but not to another garden, to a place beyond planting, beyond growing, a space for stillness, a place for rest. You take one final look at the bloom you've left behind. It sways gently, its light now steady, its petals open to the sky. You smile, breathe in, and turn toward the lighted path. The garden hums quietly behind you, not as a goodbye, but as a lullaby. You walk, and the air welcomes you forward. The vine bridge rises in a slow arc, curving higher into the quiet sky. Each step is lighter than the last, as if gravity has gently let go of you. Above, the clouds open like soft curtains parting at dusk. And there, spread across a vast platform of glowing stone and cloud root, wait the giants, all of them. Some you've seen before, some you haven't. They sit in great circles among pools of golden mist, their broad backs curled inward, their eyes half-lidded in stillness. None speak, none move, but the moment you step onto the final platform, they all look toward you, not suddenly, not sharply, but with the warmth of a silent welcome. You walk among them as one might walk through a grove of ancient trees, with respect, with ease. The ground beneath you hums softly, not music, not voice, just vibration, a resonance like the breath of the world itself. At the center of the gathering stands a low, circular rise, nestled between flowering arches and ringed with bioluminescent vines. A resting place. Petals drift downward from unseen branches above, landing silently on the soft bedding of moss and velvet leaf. The air glows in soft twilight colors. Dusky blue, soft coral, and pale pearl. You step into the circle and lie down. The moss curves beneath your body, rising gently to meet your shoulders, your hips, your legs. It cradles you completely. The air slows. So does your breath. The hum continues around you, but now it pulses more gently, like a lullaby made not of sound, but sensation. One of the giants, the first you met, steps quietly toward you. They kneel beside the circle, and from one great hand, scatter a handful of star-like petals across the space above you. They drift in slow spirals, glowing as they fall. A few land on your chest. One rests near your cheek. They are warm and humming. The giant places a hand to their heart, then to the earth, a gesture of peace, of ending, of rest. You smile, barely, softly, and close your eyes. Above you, the sky has grown darker, but not black. A soft canvas of midnight indigo brushed with silver stars and curling clouds. You can feel it, the entire garden breathing with you. Your body has no weight now, only warmth. Your thoughts are like lanterns set gently into a drifting stream, carried softly away, one by one, until there are none left to hold. Only breath, only stillness. Only the soft glow of your own presence settling like dew onto everything around you. The giants begin to hum again, a shared note, low and steady. It moves through the garden, through the earth, through you. A final chord, a final cradle. Your flower still blooms somewhere below, its light shining upward like a candle in the mist. You are not leaving, you are not staying, you are simply here. And here is enough. You exhale once more, long and soft. The wind curls through the arches. The petals continue to fall. And as the hum settles into silence, you drift. Not away, but within, into the deepest part of the quiet, where there is no more garden, no more sky, no more name, only peace, only light, only sleep.